Hey everybody, Fox here. Welcome to the channel and to my review of the brand new Shrapnel Trap skill. This is a trap variation that was available, or at least visible, at the start of Season 3, TU11, but as of the middle of November 2020, when you're able to do the final part of the Manhunt mission, this is now available to actually use. So the earliest that you could have got this would have been a couple of days ago as of the release of this video. Very easy to obtain. If you open up your map and tab to the left once, you'll bring up your Manhunt screen. This is for Season 3, so this will change in the next season. But ultimately what you need to do is to kill all 4 of these sub-bosses to finish on the Barden Schaefer mission. You do get an extra mask out of that as well, which I'll show you shortly, which is pretty cool. I'm not going to tell you how the mission plays out. It's quite similar to the Repair Trap one, and there's some good story and lore in there, so if you like that side of the game, the story, then this mission is quite a nice addition to that. I really liked it. Certainly quite easy to complete compared to the previous versions. Just make sure that you pay attention to the left of the screen there. You'll see all of the prerequisites for killing these kind of sub-manhunt bosses, and then in the same sense as the Repair Trap, you actually pick this up quite early on in the mission, and you are able to use it from that point onwards, even if you leave the mission. But I would recommend that you complete it anyway, as it is very short. The mask that you get as well, just to quickly show you that, is this bad boy here. Very nice mask. It's called Deceit. This is actually one of the best looking masks in the game. It's like several pieces of metallic skulls fused together, which is pretty cool. So I'm a really big fan of this. I'm going to be wearing this going forward. So that's a nice little addition and reward as well. So let's have a look at the trap. Let's see exactly what it does. I'll read out the description. The Shrapnel Trap scatters a minefield of small explosive devices that can attach to any surface, including enemies. Yes, that does work. And then detonate based on enemy proximity. Now the build that I'm trying this on is an explosive build, as it stacks with 2 things from what I've tested, both your skill damage and your explosive damage. So you see on the right hand side there, my cooldown is 38.4 seconds, and the main reason for that is that the majority of this build does have status effects and skill damage, as it is a mortar build and you don't need skill haste there. So yes, you can get the cooldown a bit lower than this, particularly if you use the memento backpack and get your skill efficiency really high. But ultimately, what build you put this on is up to you. It certainly plays very well in high skill builds. The damage on my build, this is including glass cannon, but not factoring in the shock and awe talent that obviously hasn't procced yet, is over 2 million, and even in PvP it's 1.2 million. Now I will show you some PvE footage shortly so you can see how this works. I'm not going to show you any PvP because I'm going to be honest with you all now, it's very, very powerful in PvP if played correctly, certainly in the dark zone, where you can just place it outside doors and so on. They are actually, I believe, looking at the PTS notes, there are going to be some changes to that, so I'm not going to go through any PvP stuff just yet. I'm going to wait until TU12, which will be launching at the end of December, and then we'll have a closer look at the PvP capabilities. But if you do want to try this out in PvP, if you're a skill builder, I'd highly recommend getting it, because as it stands, as of TU 11.1 and the release of this video, this is powerful in PvP. 1.2 million damage per trap is pretty insane. So each skill tier that you have builds up the trap, as you can see on the right here, so you gain 1 additional trap and 10% additional damage for each skill tier. The overcharge mode just gives you an additional 40% on top of all of that, so not a huge difference there, it's just more damaging. Doesn't give extra radius or anything like that. Mod wise, I haven't kept any relevant ones back because who does? So I've got a duration mod which does work, and I have a shock trap radius which does not work. You just want a standard radius one there, or skill haste. The way that it works is you obviously equip the skill. Now this is the size of the circle just here, so you just throw it down. Let's get a quick in-sync shot on there, and get a record time on this apparently. So that's pretty much how it works. I'll show you it in a PvE mission as well, but you saw exactly how the detonation worked just there. When they're close to it, it instantly blows up all that shrapnel and kills them very, very quickly. It is very powerful, and if you run it with an explosive and or skill build, you will really notice that. The problem is that the area of effect is quite small, so I do feel that in certain missions this might not be viable, maybe good against bosses. I think where it's really going to be strong is if you are going rogue or manhunt in the dark zone and you're trying to control a certain area. It's very effective for doing so, so I think that's where it's going to be strongest, but this does do a ton of damage. What we'll do now is we'll load into a mission and I will show you exactly how that all plays out. So what I decided to do was to just kill the boss outside of the White House. There is a open world boss that spawns directly south of the White House, which is where I'm sat now. This is a great way to finish off your card decks as well if you're looking to complete all of your trophies or Xbox achievements. I have changed my world back to heroic, as you can see just next to my character there. I was on hard before because there's no prerequisite with regards to your difficulty, or there's no you don't need to be on a minimum difficulty for the Manhunt. You can just put it on hard or normal and breeze through it, which is basically what I did so I could get this content out to you. Because that's quite a long cooldown, I don't want to go through an entire mission, as you know that might take too long to just show you what it does, so I'm just going to use it against these enemies here. If I can actually see them, that is. What I'm going to do is get this up here. Try and get a bit of early damage off. And we're going to throw this right here. There it is. Look at that damage. 4 million. Crazy damage. It looks like we did actually kill everything there. So if you look now, you can... Oh, this guy might actually just push in. Okay, man, walk into it. Oh, dodged it. Nice. So yeah, it definitely has a very small area of effect. I mean, you know, as is the case with most of these shock traps. Oh, look at that. 3.7 million damage. There we go. So it does hit really hard, and my favourite thing about it is that it is instant. So whenever somebody gets in range of one of these, yes, it has the same kind of duration as, or should I say, the same kind of trigger time as the shock trap, which is usually within about a second. But you know, it does blow up very quickly. So that's what I really like about it. If someone comes in range of these, they are basically going to die if they're, you know, 2 blues or less in the dark zone. And in PvE, you're talking the same kind of damage, or at least very similar damage as your mortar turret. No, it doesn't have any bleed or anything like that tied to it. It is just explosive, but it hits very hard. I like this trap. I think it's going to work very well in the dark zone for placing at the base of ropes if you're extracting gear or trying to cut the rope or whatever. Definitely for PvP, I think this is going to be very strong. It certainly is at the moment. PvE, I think the radius is a bit too small. We'll have a quick look at that size again. There you go, not very big at all. Quite cool how it activates though. Jumps up in the air and shoots down. So, yeah. You know, I like that they're close together, because you can end up getting a lot of sort of double damage and so on. You know, you could potentially hide these with a shock trap if another player is running with you, and then people, you know, if PvE would just run through them, get shocked, and all of these would detonate, which is pretty cool. Yeah, so I think for PvP this is one of the better skills in the game. For PvE it's above average, but I still think there are better options. You know, it'll be more down to your personal playstyle. High damage, absolutely, against stationary bosses this is going to be very powerful, but you'd need to spec into skill haste quite heavily to really sort of up your DPS numbers. So that is the end of the review. Let me know what you think in the comments to this. Are you happy to complete all of the Manhunt missions to get this unlocked? Are you not too fussed about it? Have you come up against it in PvP yet and been absolutely wrecked? You know, I will get some PvP footage out for you guys in TU12 once it's all been sort of fully updated and so on. But yeah, I am curious to hear your thoughts. Thanks again for watching the video, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace!